Hi guys, it's Caitlin and this is Book Chats, and this has become possibly my hardest video to film. It's my successes, struggles, and soon-to-bes for August 2017. A lot of really great successes in August and really wonderful things to celebrate, and I'm really glad that my life in general has been going very well because it made some other things a lot, I don't know if easier to take is a right way to say it, but it helped make sure that I was the most stable I could be when I heard the news. So first, work is actually going really, really well. If you guys have been watching this series of videos since I started it, you'll know that I vacillate all the time about whether or not I feel like work is going well and how I'm doing and everything related to that. But we got a new CEO and he started in August and he is awesome. And I just have hope for change in a way that I haven't in a while, in several months, and that is really encouraging. Also, the reading quest. I powered through really fast, and in the first week of the reading quest, I finished the Bard's quest, which was my first kind of goal, and I've now moved on to the night, and the night is going a lot harder for me, partly because I don't have as short of books to go through, because I read a lot of short books for the Bard's quest. Debuts. I was behind in reading debuts for a long time because of the Traitor's Kiss, which was taking me forever to read, and which I was really struggling with. But I finally finished that. My review went up last week. I have read 3 or 4 debuts since then. I just finished my 8th debut, although that was right at the beginning of September, and so I am basically caught up. I've read 8 through August, and I'll read a 9th in September, and I'm just really, really happy to be caught up. I spent a lot of time in September connecting with friends and seeing friends and cherishing my friends, and that was really encouraging to me. Every time I get to see my friends and just I'm reminded how lucky I am to have them, it is a really good time. So that was awesome. And then the last 2 big successes of the month, I hit 800 subscribers. I can't even describe to you guys how unexpected that is. I am going on the 3rd year of my channel. I've had my channel since 2015, and I really quickly realized I was not going to skyrocket to a really high subscriber number, and so the fact that I have just continued to steadily grow and that you guys have continued to subscribe and that you watch me is I'm so grateful. Thank you for watching my channel. I so appreciate it. I haven't planned anything to really specifically celebrate this milestone because I honestly didn't expect to meet it, but let me know down below if you guys really want to see something specific from me and I will see what I can do. No promises, but thank you so much for subscribing and watching. And then the, of course, huge success that is technically not of August. It was technically in September, but it was the very beginning of September, so I'm including it here anyway, was BookNet Fest. This event was exactly what I needed, and it ran very smoothly for a first-time event. I got to meet people who I've only known online. I got to meet people who did not know me, but I know from the internet. I got to meet some amazing creators that I just didn't know yet, and it was a wonderful experience, and it was just so great to speak to other creators about creating, and just on a creator level, but also talk about some of the other challenges we face. And my roommates were all really great. I was on a panel at BookNet Fest, which you will know if you've been watching my channel because I will not shut up about it, but it was such a great experience. The other panelists were so wonderful and smart and articulate and intelligent, and I loved being on the panel, and I hope that I didn't talk too much. And people told me that they liked my panel, which I hope is true and that they weren't just being nice to me. But it was such a great experience, and all of the panels that I went into as an audience member were really great. I really enjoyed seeing people up there and talking, and the topics that they just had were great. And I was just so impressed with the whole event, and I enjoyed it so much. Here is where I confess that I'm a little bit silly and then tell you why this event was so awesome. I haven't talked about this on my channel because it's embarrassingly needy and unwarranted, but sometimes I get envious of other people's friendships on YouTube in our community, which is silly because I have really amazing friends, and I'm even friends with some of these people, but they are closer to each other than they are to me. Some days I just have like a little envy monster kind of sitting on my shoulder and saying, you know, look at how close they are. They don't feel the same way about you, and it's not healthy and it's not good, and the last time it happened I called my little sister and made her talk me out of it. But I think sometimes events like this can just feed that little monster of envy, and you see other people in their photos hanging out and being friends with each other, and you just get envious of their friendships. But this event, BookNet Fest, even though there were plenty of groups of friends who were closer to each other than they were to me, did not give me that feeling. Every time I saw people like clustered up in a little group hanging out, I just got excited about the potential there, about the potential for them as creators and as friends and the ways that they can grow and feed each other in a non-creepy way. And I was really happy, and I think the event had a lot to do with that, where there just was enough for everyone. There was enough to go around. There was enough attention and wisdom and knowledge and friendliness and just like creator potential to go around, and that is what I loved about BookNet Fest. And I am really excited that it went so well. So I have like sort of penciled that into my calendar because I enjoyed this event so much and I would love to go back. It was so good for me to have so many big successes in my life in August, and it was especially good to end out the month with such a loving and positive and welcoming and community atmosphere, because I have one big struggle in August, and it's bad. There was a point early in August where I thought my only struggle for the month would be that I had been having some kind of Instagram-fueled envy of people, and I solved that by unfollowing them on Instagram. So if I've unfollowed you on Instagram in the last month, it's probably because your Instagram was making me envious, and that was not healthy. And oh, the days when I thought that that would be my only struggle of the month, because I don't know if I can talk about this without crying, so I apologize if I start crying. But on August 22nd, I got a phone call that 2 days earlier, one of my college friends had died. And I've never received a call like that before. I have had people I love and care about die. I have had people that are in my family die, but they've always been not my age. My uncle died last year very unexpectedly. All of my grandparents are gone. But even with the unexpectedness of some of those deaths, it wasn't the same, because you never expect someone your age when you're only 28 to die. We have only known each other for 10 years. But this was a really good friend. He was the kind of person that builds community, that really held my group of friends together until we had the time to grow our own connections, and just was always welcoming new people in. I have a lot of really amazing friends from college, like 30 plus amazing friends from college, and that's just an unusually large group of people, and 25 of us regularly stay in contact with each other. And that was in evidence when we got the news about this friend, and there was a memorial during Harvey in the college town that I went to school in, which is College Station, which was not unaffected by the storm, although it was not under the storm the way Houston was, and many of us were able to go. I was able to see many of my friends because of that. I don't know. I don't know when this will not be a struggle anymore. The first week was really hard. I sat at work and pretended I didn't know and tried to focus on work but didn't really get much done. And I went home and cried for 3 hours every day. And I'm not at that place anymore. I have stopped crying every time I'm home and alone and it feels safe to cry. I have started being able to focus again. I have been able to focus on work again. I am still distracted sometimes. I was distracted enough to trip on the way into work and smash my knee open, which is fine. I'm fine. I'm going to have a scar when it eventually heals, but it's fine. But that's what I was thinking about when it happened. I've started reading again. Right after it happened, I couldn't read for about a week and a half. I just couldn't focus long enough on a book to read anything. And everything in my books felt meaningless. And I was focusing on calling my friends, talking to my friends, being with my friends. We made plans to attend the memorial together. And I was crying a lot and praying a lot. But I have been able to start reading again. I started, of course, with a cheesy romance novel that I was able to finish. And then I buddy read a book with a friend of mine. And now I will hopefully be okay in September on the reading front. I am doing a lot to kind of avoid books with major deaths in them. Because I don't want to deal with that right now. But I wanted to talk about it in this video because I haven't talked about it in like any kind of public social media yet. And I think that that is a huge example of this truth that we all know, but it's hard to really remember, that social media is not the whole picture. Because if you look back at my social media for August, I think you can tell that maybe something was going on, but you can't tell what it was because just my output went down. But there's really no indication if that was something exciting, if I was just busy, if I was just doing something else with my life. There's really no way for you to know because I wasn't able to talk about it without crying. And so I didn't talk about it on social media. But I did want to talk about it here because it's been the looming truth in my life since I got that call. And I have friends who, you know, at this point as adults spoke to this person much more frequently, were much closer to him. He has a beautiful wife who is a wonderful person. And so I'm going to continue to be praying for them in the future, and I am going to continue praying for me. Because it sucks. But that's what's going on, and if you see me sometimes say, like, I'm just tired, or I have less energy, or I'm just more distracted, I won't necessarily always say those things, but I'm trying to be more open and say them more. But that's why. I haven't fully gotten back to my level of concentration, my level of focus, my level of energy that I had before. It's weird to say that because it's not like something physically happened to me. But I think grief is really exhausting and very real. And so yeah, that's what happened in August. Yeah, I don't really know how to talk about it, but so moving on, Soon-to-Bes. I have a lot of really cool stuff planned, and I'm really excited. This Friday, I am flying to Seattle for my last big trip of the year, and that is a yearly annual trip I do with one of my best friends where we try to go visit national parks. I mentioned already that I have many reviews that I've filmed that will be coming out, and hopefully I will be able to read some more books and review them as well. I feel really energized by my own panel, which makes me sound really self-absorbed. But just talking about reviews and thinking about the reviewing panel, which is what I was on at BookNet Fest, made me really remember how much I love reviewing. And it even made me think about, like, someone asked like how you got into the online community, and I got into the online bookish community through fan fiction and fiction press. And I used to write these long, very, very snobby comments. I reread some of them. I signed up for 3 Python classes because I want to learn Python for my job. And so I will hopefully be doing those in September. I was supposed to start today, but we'll see if I do in my next hour before bed. Obviously, after my friend passed, and I was just thinking about my college friendships and how meaningful they are to me and how meaningful that community still is to me and how meaningful my other friends and coworkers were just in like distracting me from that. It really like made me refocus on community building and maintaining community, and so I'm trying to kind of make goals around that and focus around that. And with that in mind, I am relaunching a book club. It's the 3rd book club I'm going to be in simultaneously, which is questionable choices, but this is a book club that I do with my college friends, and it basically is one where you read and annotate a book and then you mail it to someone, and then you get a book in the mail and you get a month to read and annotate that book, and then you mail it to that same person and you get one. And after 6 months, your books will have gone through everyone and it should return to you. So I'm very excited about restarting this. I did 3 rounds of it 2 or 3 years ago now. I'm relaunching it. So that is happening this month. It's starting on September 15th, but it starts with my book. So I'm pretty chill. I'm going to reread a book I've already read, and I'm pretty excited for that. And anything else you want to say on this video? My comments are open, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.